Okay, I record this video on Monday, the 17th of May, 2021. Just gone 6:27 p.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So, going to make a short video today about the crypto space because we got some serious blood in the streets over the last 48 hours. So I want to talk to my charts on that. Also going to speak to the Aussie dollar and E-mini tip bar charts. So that's going to be the video today. But before getting on to that, just to say a couple of things on housekeeping. Apologies, there are a few subscribers who are unable to log into the site or to change their password to log into the site. This has been an issue for 10 days or more, and we've not been able to find a solution to it. So, got some new kind of eyes looking at the problem. Hopefully, they'll be able to kind of troubleshoot that and get it done in the next day or two. So, apologies for everybody who's had trouble with that. It just seems to be something that's affecting a few subscribers, not everybody. So, that makes it even harder to troubleshoot. And the second thing is to say we've got the new version of the Emini-Watch multiple time frame better indicators system that I showed you a couple of weeks ago. It's already coded for TradeStation. We're just working on the NinjaTrader and multi-charts versions, and that should be out hopefully in the next couple of days. Anyway, so there we go. Some announcements. Let's talk to charts and Bitcoin. Usual setup, two charts side by side. These are tick bar charts. This is an 8600 tick bar chart of Bitcoin versus the US dollar. That equates roughly to a 1 hour chart, and it's the kind of time frame I like coming down to from a daily chart. Left-hand side, we've got everything to do with volume. We've got better momentum on the bottom of the chart here. And on the price bars themselves, we've got better pro-am showing us amateur and professional activity. On the right-hand side, we've got everything to do with price. The plate of spaghetti below the price bars is better sine wave, which is calculating the cyclical activity in 3 different time frames that allows us to put on support and resistance levels in those 2 time frames, and then breaks of those support and resistance levels gives us uptrends and downtrends. Downtrends in white, uptrends in red, and when the 2 indicators, the price and the volume-based indicators, are signaling together in an uptrend, the background is painted in red, and in a downtrend the background is painted in grey. So Bitcoin 8600 tip bar chart. Last time I talked about this, we had this very nasty sell-off into the 48,000 region. I said I was legging back in at 49,000 to pick up some more Bitcoin. And the reason for doing that was because we had exhaustion sell on blue professional bars on this spike kind of down here. We came in to test again, more blue professional bars kind of coming at those lows, picking it up, and we kind of rallied a little bit. However, that wasn't enough on the downside. And what's actually happened on better sine wave, you can see here, all we did is ran into trouble on the highest time frame resistance coming in there, and we've come back down. But now this has completed the pattern. So we've made a pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame, which means, trending wise, this downtrend should be over on the downside, and we're kind of trying to find a bottom down here. Now it's reached quite a little bit further down at 42,000, which kind of surprised me. You never know on these left shoulders that are made here whether the market's going to kind of spike higher, and then when we eventually put in that pullback to end of trend, the end of trend level is going to come in a lot higher than that point or whatever. Yes, in retrospect, probably bit early to kind of pick some up here, but I was following the lead from the professionals, which is kind of they're legging into positions here and down here, and we can see with today's activity another exhaustion pattern, more blue professional bars, and we've had a bounce from here. This is a bouncing ball kind of pattern down here. What I'm looking for next is a break above resistance, which we could get in the next couple of bars, where we got a resistance kind of coming on the lowest time frame here, break above that, that'll take us into an uptrend. We could have to see some amateur down bars, some yellow patterns kind of come in here, just testing back down into there. We haven't seen a bullish divergence pattern yet, although that does look pretty good, but it didn't actually signal on better sine wave, on better momentum. So that's the picture when we back it down. So still a hodler, still holding on to my Bitcoin, still looking for opportunities to kind of pick up more, because I think this is kind of going places. And the reason for that is we have to go up to the daily chart to show you what I'm seeing on there. Okay, so usual comments about the daily charts here. There is not an ideal way of plotting Bitcoin on a daily chart that has all of the relevant information. It's still traded on so many different exchanges, and there are different kind of ways of tracking price and volume. None of them is perfect, none of them is kind of ideal, so I keep them all on one chart here. We got the BTC USD 1440-minute chart from TradeStation, the dollar BRTI, which is the Bitcoin real-time index, again a 1440-minute chart, and then the daily chart of the futures contract at BTC traded on the CME. We've got the volume indicators on the top here and the price indicators down below. Now, we did know that coming into 60 we were going to have trouble because we had Rambo patterns up here at the highs. Plus, we had end of trend signals going off. A couple of them, pull back to end of trend, pull back to end of trend. That is a classic left shoulder. But I've been saying all along with this, the uptrend is not over on Bitcoin until we see the pullback to end of trend patterns ripple through all of the time frames. So here's the intermediate time frame. All we've done is broken above resistance there. That has to run pullback to end of trend. We're also well above resistance on the highest time frame. So that's got to run pullback to end of trend. So timing wise, we're a long way away from this whole trending move being over. And you can see those same patterns are replicated across all three different charts. We've got those end of trends going on here and here. We've got the resistance on the intermediate and the highest time frame going on here and here. So exactly the same pattern on all three ways of looking at Bitcoin. We had the exhaustion buying with the bearish divergence and the Rambo patterns up here with this left shoulder being made. So there's no kind of surprise there. But what we're now coming down to is support on this intermediate time frame, and this is what I'm looking at on all of these charts. We've got support in due on the daily time frame here because we had a cross with these thinnest lines. The red has gone above the blue, which means we're looking for support, and that's kind of printed here on the lowest time frame. We've also got the red and the blue line, the slightly thicker lines here, that's the intermediate time frame. So that's due to cross in the next couple of bars that will put in the support, which will be a pullback in an uptrend level for Bitcoin. It's exactly the same kind of thing going on all three time frames. So there we go, we got the cross on the thinnest lines and on the intermediate lines there on the BTC USD chart and the futures chart. A little bit further away, we've had the cross on the daily chart in there, but you can see these two lines kind of still have a little bit of work to do to kind of come together before putting in that cross, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So I actually think for me that's super kind of relevant because it means timing wise support on the intermediate and the lowest time frame will kind of come in. That'll be an important support level. It'd be great if we saw a blue professional bar kind of come in or an amateur down bar, something on the volume side of things to signal that that's an important level kind of going on. But on the tick bar chart, which is equivalent to like an hourly chart, again with these exhaustion sell signals down here and the blue professional bars coming to pick it in at 42. I think it's still pretty important. Did forget to mention my usual caveat, which is with the Bitcoin charts. I always say, if you're not interested in Bitcoin, just fast forward through the video. I always get a couple of messages saying, it's the devil's work. Bitcoin, don't be wasting your time with it, and worse kind of comments. My personal opinion, I think it's the most exciting thing that's happening in the finance space, has been for the last 5 years and will be for the next 10 years. It's the kryptonite to quantitative easing, the stake in the heart to government overreach. It's the Achilles heel of our debt-based financial system. It's the thing that'll bring everything into focus. And I think it's got a long way to go before it's all kind of over. In terms of adoption rates, we haven't even, started really with Bitcoin. So that's why I'm fascinated by it, interested in it, heavily invested in it, and we'll keep on talking about it, no doubt. Anyway, so let's talk E-mini charts. So E-mini here, let's have a look what the professionals and the momentum signals have been doing here. This is a 4,500 tip bar chart, which is kind of the highest tip bar chart I'm looking at these days. I was having trouble the other day with my computer and not just being able to process. I was looking for 10,000 tip bar charts and it was just uncomfortable with that. So what have we done in the last few days? These yellow lines are the free vertical time line indicator. Just shows the beginning and the end of the day. So this is the end of the day, the beginning of the next day. This is Monday's activity. Friday's activity kind of overnight, Sunday into Monday's activity here. And we had exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence kind of come in here, a little short covering rally. That little exhaustion buy there was short covering rally as we triggered some stops. Then we came into, what's that, Wednesday night into Thursday, Friday. Yep, must have been, we kind of tested down and then kind of got this move going. But you'll note on the upside, you know, we haven't had exhaustion patterns up here or up here today. We had an exhaustion pattern here. This was kind of getting the move going, if you like. We shook out some people at the end of Thursday with an exhaustion sell pattern, a whole bunch of blue professional bars kind of coming at the end of the day. Yep, they came in at the end of the day on Friday and today. But until we see that exhaustion buy pattern on kind of new highs or the top of the chart here, this uptrend's not going to be over. So I had a nice little long trade into the end of the day. I'm not holding overnight here, but I think the Emini has, is going to continue rallying higher. And we look at better sine wave, with today's activity. We had a triple support come in here that held. Kind of rallied back up. We've got a couple of resistances that we're breaking through on better sine wave here. The chart is showing red, so we're in an uptrend here. And until we see that exhaustion buying on the upside, this uptrend isn't going to be over on the E-mini. So we've got a risk-on change happening at the moment where we've had some initial panic selling, if you like, at the beginning of last week, but now we've kind of made a bottom. We're starting to rally from there, so we're going to have a look at the upside of that channel. So still think we're kind of in an uptrend on the E-mini, and the position I'm holding at the moment is long Aussie, kind of a risk-on, kind of classic risk-on kind of trade. And the reason for getting into the Aussie dollar, this is a 2200 tip bar chart, again equivalent to about an hourly chart. We've been kind of stuck in a little bit of a range. The last move up here was all led by the amateurs, so Rambo patterns into the highs here, amateurs active at the highs here, kind of getting out or getting wrong-footed as the market was moving up here. But why I like this chart is a whole bunch of blue professional bars kind of come in when we tested down to 77. They came in here and here on the spike down. This was Friday's activity where they were kind of anxiously buying it. We had a little bit of weakness overnight into kind of Monday's trade, and the professionals kind of step in midday and hold this line. So we're in an uptrend on better pro-am here with the trailing stop there, and we just need another break above resistance on the better sine wave chart in order to trip this into another kind of uptrend, supporting the highest time frames in there. And because we've not seen blue professional bars, exhaustion buying, all of those things on this high, I don't think the top is in for the Aussie dollar. It's the similar logic to this, to the E-mini, to all these charts you look at. Unless you see exhaustion buying, blue professional bars kind of up here, the end is not over. We're just kind of coming back, professionals stepping in again to push it higher. So there we go, a couple of charts, Bitcoin, E-mini and Aussie dollar. Hope your trading is going well.